Herr Luther paused and looked at Bishop Lorenzi. "Does the girl speak German?" No, Herr Luther, she is a poor girl from the Garda region. Her only language is Italian, and even that she speaks like a peasant. You may speak freely in front of her." I turned and left the room, pretending not to have heard the terribly insulting things the prelate had just said about me to the German. My face must have shown my embarrassment, because when I entered the antechamber, Cicciotto said, "Is something wrong, Sister Regina?" No, I'm fine, just a little tired." "Shall we continue to say the rosary, sister?" "You say it, my child, but softly, please." The boy resumed the rosary, but after a few moments he fell asleep with his head resting on my lap. I cracked the door a few inches so I could hear what was being said inside the common room. Herr Luther was still speaking. This is what I heard that night, recorded to the best of my recollection and ability. "Despite our best efforts to keep the evacuation secret, word unfortunately is beginning to trickle out. It is my understanding from our own ambassador to the Vatican that some of these reports are beginning to reach the ears of the Holy Father." Bishop Lorenzi replied, "That is indeed the case, State Secretary Luther. I'm afraid news of the evacuations has indeed reached the Vatican. The British and Americans are putting enormous pressure on the Holy Father to speak out. It is imperative that the roundups and deportations go smoothly and with a minimum of struggle and histrionics. The element of surprise is a critical factor. If the Holy Father issues a protest, accompanied by an explicit warning about what deportation to the East truly means for the Jews, then it will make the roundups messy and difficult affairs. It will also mean that many Jews will go into hiding and escape our forces. There is another reason why it is critical that the Holy Father not raise his voice in protest. Many of those who assist us in this necessary endeavor happen to be good Roman Catholics. If the Pope condemns their behavior, or threatens them with excommunication, it might make them think twice about the work that they are doing. You may rest assured, Herr Luther, that the last thing the Holy Father would do is excommunicate Roman Catholics at a time like this. I wouldn't presume to give the Church advice on how to run its affairs, but there are reasons why papal silence on this matter would be best for all involved, including the Holy See. I'd be interested to hear your learned opinion, Herr Luther. What would happen if, God forbid, Germany should lose this war to Stalin and his gang of Jewish Bolsheviks? Try to imagine what would happen if there were millions of displaced Jews in Europe at the end of the war, alive and dispossessed, clamoring for the right to emigrate to Palestine. It would be impossible to prevent the creation of a Jewish national home in Palestine. If they have their own state, they would have the right, as the Vatican does, to send their diplomats around the world. Judaism, the ancient enemy of the Church, would be placed on a footing equal to that of the Holy See. The Jewish state would become a platform for global Jewish domination. That would be a true disaster for the Roman Catholic Church, unless we complete the annihilation of the Jewish race in Europe. There was a long silence. I could not see inside, but in my mind I tried to picture the scene. Bishop Lorenzi, I imagined, was fuming at so grotesque and monstrous a speech. He was preparing, in my imagination, to shatter the man from Berlin with a ringing condemnation of the Nazis and their war against the Jews. Instead, this is what I heard through the half-open door that night. "As you know, Herr Luther, we members of Crux Vera have been very supportive of National Socialism and its crusade against the Bolsheviks. I cannot instruct the Pope what to say about this situation. I can only offer him my heartfelt advice and hope that he accepts it. I can tell you this. At the moment, he is predisposed to say nothing about this matter. He believes a protest will only make the situation of German Catholics more tenuous. Furthermore, he has no love for the Jews, and he believes that in many respects they have brought this calamity upon themselves. Your thoughts on the future situation in Palestine give me a potent new weapon in my arsenal. I'm sure His Holiness will be very interested to hear about this." "I am very pleased to hear your remarks, Bishop Lorenzi. You have proven once again that you are a true friend of the German people, and a trusted ally in our fight against Bolshevism and the Jews. And fortunately for you, Herr Luther, there is another true friend of the German people inside the Vatican, a man who outranks me significantly. I believe a toast is in order." "As do I." "Sister Regina!" I entered the room. My legs were trembling. "Bring us a bottle of champagne," the bishop said to me in Italian, then added, "No, sister, make that 2 bottles. Tonight is a night for celebration." And so I stood there, and I pretended not to understand when they congratulated themselves.